Courtney in the building. What's going on?
Are we the special guests that are coming? Or
yeah, I thought we are not the special guests?
No.
There are more special guests?
There's people more special than y'all.
Have you ever called us special, though?
No.
Always.
Nah, I don't think he has.
Behind
you know
your
how
back.
you just said that there's other special?
I've never heard
In order to have other special, you got to tell us we special at least once, Jabari.
I can do that right now.
No, because it's a pity offer.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You just feel bad because you caught.
Y'all just bad. I'm just going to turn the music off.
Why you drive the Millennium Falcon? Why he drive the Millennium Falcon, but he got us in the back bringing him coffee?
Woo, boy,
I thought we was crew.
Man, the hate is real.
We're part of the crew, right?
We're part of the crew, I guess. We ain't
45 seconds in, and y'all got the
I know.
hate, bro.
I feel like Jabari, if he was piloting the Millennium Falcon, I feel like he would always like send us to our room because he always got to have the red light on. He probably got some space alien chick coming over. And hey, can y'all give me the helm right now? Right here, like on the seats.
Boy.
On the seats.
On the seats.
No, I do you like Luke did when he said, I got him. Great, kid. Don't get cocky.
Nice.
Sit down.
Nice.
Sit yourself down. Nah, man, I love rolling with y'all, man. I really do.
Hey, Jabari.
I really do.
I'm curious.
Yes, sir.
Are our bodies feeling any better? Because I thought we was all hurting last week.
I'm hurting this week. It's me now.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's 2 weeks in a row.
Rib.
Fellas.
Really?
Summer's coming.
Back rib, man. Back rib is doing something stupid right now.
Would you get in a squad with somebody?
No, I know what my problem is. I slept wrong. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I slept wrong, and then I have refused to lay down on a flat surface like this and stretch it out and pop it.
Yeah.
So I just got to drop it and pop it. You feel me?
Pop, lock, and drop it?
Pop, lock, and drop it. Amen to that.
That sounds like that's why you got hurt.
Probably at this point.
You can't take it to the flow.
I got to though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But welcome to the age of aging.
Yeah, I know.
Gracefully, slowly. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you play basketball. You'll eat what you want, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, you know what happened? You got to fight? Mm-mm. Working out too hard? Mm-mm. What happened? I sneezed. What?
Yeah.
You sneezed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was yawning. I looked at the picture too fast. What? You just looked over there real quick? Yeah, I got to do the Batman neck. That's to my left, though.
For me, it's always asking myself, what did I do to get this ache and pain?
Yes,
I didn't do nothing. Like, you know,
You'd be
honestly,
mad, right?
I think I've retired from pickup basketball. I've been trying to wean myself off, and I think I'm done. But this other knee is killing me, and I'm like, wait, hold on now. It ain't like I did go play ball.
Right.
What happened?
What happened was you got older.
It just decided to be hurt. That's messed up, man.
Yeah.
You can't just decide to be hurt. Check engine light, just be like, I think I'm just going to come on for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's facts though.
Yeah.
That is real. And see, like last couple of weeks, actually, I have not been outside, and I mean that. I mean that. No,
the streets they don't know you. Like, ain't nobody seeing you. So I can call a couple people and they'll be like,
He wasn't here.
No.
Okay.
I was not.
Okay.
Last couple of weeks, because I literally have not been able to stand on my left leg for more than 5 minutes. That's why I didn't make a gospel jazz concert, because I know you were there. You were hosting.
Man, we did the food.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You can't do the flamingo, Jabari?
No, man,
You can't stand on one leg and.
Nah, man. No flamingo. It was walking. If I walked for more than 2 minutes, I was hurt.
Hey, you out here looking like Unc. You got limp.
Yeah.
You got on the gaiters. You got some linen shorts. And every time you walk, you lean a little too much to one side.
It was like that. It really, really was. It was crazy. It was probably one of the things. Well, like, when I teach, I've taught for a long time. I've taught for almost 25, 30 years. So every once in a while, my body will say, sit down and just don't move. And it'll be one of them pains where it just gets to me. And I think I'm also stressing out because I'm having some real problems with my sister. Seriously, like consulting God before I snap kind of thing. But I think for the most part, it's just getting older, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting older. Like Courtney said, check engine light comes on the car. You go and see what's popping. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like that. But for the most part, glad to have y'all with us. We are the Morning Grind on 88.7 FM KAZI. I got a couple special guests going to be dropping by a little later on in the show. Stay along with us. We are at kazifm.org. Got your phone with you or your tablet or iPad, whatever. We've got a mobile device that will allow you to take us with you everywhere you go. It's the TuneIn app from kazifm.org. Of course, you can get it from Google Play or Alexa, Siri, whatever you're rolling with. All right, let's mix it up, y'all.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
You silly boy.
Yeah.
All right, first of our guests is coming up this morning. We definitely want to welcome this brother to KAZI 88.7 FM. Dab Dub.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mickey Fax. Mickey Fax is a veteran MC from the Bronx with over 15 years in the hip-hop industry. He's collaborated with artists like Drake, Kanye West, and Lupe Fiasco. Beyond his music career, Mickey is the founder, CEO, and Dean of Students at Pendulum Inc. Academy.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the first school dedicated to lyricism and hip-hop education.
Okay.
Through Pendulum Inc., he aims to uplift and mentor MCs, fostering a community that emphasizes writing, delivery, mental health, and business acumen. Mickey, thanks for joining us today. What's up?
Good morning, guys. How y'all feeling?
We good, man. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the. First of all, I think you've got such an incredible lineup of stuff that you've done in terms of getting into the game. How many years have you been in the game, and what was the struggle like?
Man, I officially got into the game around 2007. So, we're talking about 18 years. I know my guy 15 years, but really is 18 years. 18 years in the music industry. And I just you get your ups, you get your downs, you sell your records, you do your record deals, you do commercials, you be in movies, all of these different things. You keep trying to pivot and figure out what works for you. Once, some of the minutes in your 15 minutes of fame start to expire. You try to figure out how to continue to, navigate in the space. And I think, I don't even want to just say it's ageism. I just think that Jordan can't play basketball for 30 years, Bill Gates is not going to just constantly be making programs for computers. Right. Now he's doing other things. And I think that's something that us as entrepreneurs and us as creatives have to continue to keep in our mind. How do we continuously be innovative to move culture forward in whatever capacity that may be?
Word. Okay. Hey, what's up, man? This is Simply Courtney, one of the guys here in the studio. Hey, so you said 18 years, right?
Yes.
What keeps you excited when it comes to either performing, producing, or just about music in general?
I think it's the unknown, not knowing if people will like what you potentially like. Also, just seeing people's reactions, allowing people to digest it and see if it impacts their lives in different ways. It's funny that you asked this, right? When you think about, Martin, let's just use Martin for an example. In 1995, I was 12 years old, maybe 13 years old. And a lot of the language that Martin was using, we were using in New York City. Now, Martin, that show was based in Detroit. And Martin, I don't believe is from Detroit. I think he's from another city.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it was in Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore, right? So you taking a guy from Baltimore where their accent is you take him into Detroit where they have their own language, but that language and his experiences are the exact same experiences that I've experienced and a lot of other Black people felt like they have went through. And I believe that music does the exact same thing. If I am expressive in terms of what I may have went through, depression-wise, love-wise, financial issues, and people go through the exact same things. And I feel that once you can connect with people and they can take this music, dwell on it, and hopefully change, now you're seeing actual beauty in what it is that you create when it comes to art.
Love it, man.
Thank you, brother.
If you're joining late, we have Mickey Fax veteran MC from the Bronx, also CEO, Dean of Students at Pendulum Inc. Academy. I want to talk a little bit about Pendulum Inc. and education. What inspired you to create Pendulum Inc.? And what gap do you feel it filled in the hip hop or education world?
I just want to say rest in peace to DMX, rest in peace to Shock G,
Yes, sir.
and rest in peace to Black Rob. Those 3 deaths back to back post-pandemic really shook me up, mainly because these are guys who are staples in our community when it comes to song, art, and visuals, and to see that their affairs were not in order and out for the public to consume really scared me, because I'm not somebody who has the luxury of having hit records and things of that nature. I do well for myself. I haven't had a job in 17, 18 years, but at any given point that can be taken away from me. So I said to myself, what is the pivot? What do you do? And I said, maybe I should teach. Maybe I should teach hip hop. And I tried to get jobs in different universities and colleges, and I was turned down. And at that moment, I said, well, you know what? If they're going to tell somebody such as myself no, who's extremely accomplished and has tons of accolades, and I have the respect of my peers, then maybe I should create my own school to not only teach the youth of what's going on, but also re-educate the artists that are doing what they're doing while still maintaining a space for the older artists to find, potential, post-career jobs in teaching this all across the country. And I think it's best to come from the practitioners as opposed to people who create theoretical dissertations and syllabi framed around what they have heard and not actually experienced and done in their careers.
Yeah, and Mickey Facts, that's exactly what I kind of thought. But I'm also kind of curious when it comes to you and Pendulum Inc. And for those who don't know, it's the Pendulum Inc. Academy is what he has. As the dean of students, what kind of transformation do you see in artists who go through your program?
Man, I just want to say rest in peace to Katie. Katie D'Angelo, aka K-Rap. She was a student of mine.
Oh,
she joined in 2023, and she was not a rapper. She was from Boston, Massachusetts. She was an older woman, and she joined our program, and she went to every single class. She was not a rapper, and I taught her for a full year. Helped her rhyme on beat, improved her cadences, improved her writing. And, she sadly went into a coma March 17th and passed away on Sunday. But on the 21st of April, one of her songs will be playing on All American on the CW next week. Congrats. And to me, I believe that is the transformation. Seeing someone not being able to do anything with music and achieving something that a lot of artists strive for constantly and consistently, she was able to do that in a very short amount of time. People go years without having any sort of success in the music industry, and we were able to accomplish that with her in a year and a half.
Kudos, man. That's big props, dude, for you to do that. That is not a small feat at all,
no
dude.
doubt.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
As people try to understand Pendulum Inc. Academy, can you walk us through what a student at Pendulum Inc. experiences from enrollment to completion?
Absolutely. So when you sign up, you fill out an application. I need to know your phone number. I need to know your email address. I need to know your rap name, how long you've been doing this, and you need to submit me some lyrics or some music. And then from there, I can place you in your class, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, senior, junior. And then after that, you are entered into our exclusive community. You come into our community where there's nothing but artists in there, and you get a chance to be around other like-minded MCs. And then from there, it's an online school. So there's classes happening every single day, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're learning the business of music. You're learning how to write. You're learning how to rhyme on beat. We have a mental health specialist on staff. So you get therapy once a month. And then we bring in a legendary guest MC every single month.
Wow.
So you get a chance to interact with MCs that you potentially may have never spoken to or met. So this year so far, we've had Elzai from Detroit. We've had Tretch from Naughty by Nature, and we had Exhibit last month. This month we have R.A. the Rugged Man pulling up next week, and then we the next 3 months it's looking like we have Benny the Butcher, Jadakiss, and Slick Rick.
Nice.
No, you can't get too much better than
No,
that.
no, man.
You can't get too much
You
better
just
than
rattling off names. I'm like, wow.
Cats rolling through.
Oh my God. I got a question for you, Mickey. How have you seen the game change now? Because of course you've got a whole new slew of folks. And I think that at some point there's a difference, like Doechii. Doechii is a hot female right now, right? But her lyrics to me is old school. I'm old school cat, right? You know, I grew up with, Slick Rick and Run DMC and all of those guys. And so, and I still love hip hop. But I think at some point, maybe it's gotten to a point where everybody tries to jump on that same line of lyricism, but then, somebody to me like Doechii comes along, somebody like Kendrick comes along, who takes the lyricism to me a little bit more serious.
So I think that, we have to uphold artists like Doechii and Kendrick because, they're speaking to the Black diaspora, right? I don't agree with a lot of what Kanye has been doing in the recent weeks or months. I feel like his approach is off. But there is truth to him saying how the powers that be are exploiting Black trauma for capital. And whether it's, promoting, financial illiteracy, whether it's promoting high-level misogyny, whether it's promoting high-level drug use, it just seems like that's the focus and the focal point on Black music and trauma, and it didn't used to be like that. Somebody posted something not too long ago about they asked artists in 1997.
I was just about to read that. It was on Instagram earlier.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to read it before I got into the studio. Okay.
Yeah, so they asked the artists, what would you change in hip hop in 1997? And they all said violence. Why are we rapping about violence? Why are we rapping about drugs? Why are we and all of them, like I would say 80 to 90% of them, and it was, our legends.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were all saying this. And here we are 28 years later.
Still at it.
It's devolved.
Yep.
It's gotten even worse.
Yep.
And I feel like, there is a disconnect somewhere. And I'm hoping, and listen, I'm a firm religious believer. I believe right now Pendulum Inc. has to kind of be the change in hip hop where we encourage content, we encourage emotional expression, we encourage creativity to be able to express ourselves in positive ways, and we're going to try to implement it into the creatives in the schools, because right now these guys are the children of Israel. What's happening right now, we in the wilderness. They got to die off so we can get the youth to change what is being expressed. And the only way to do that is if they're consistently involved in the arts with someone who is responsible and infiltrating the school systems with actual curriculum and syllabi to teach them the proper way to do it. And listen, we've been teenagers, debauchery is a part of that, but to constantly have that every which way you turn is sad, right? And he only named 2 artists, right? There's probably an extra handful of guys, but the majority is just ridiculous. And I feel like the only way to change that is actual action, and that's what I'm trying to do with Pendulum Inc. as well.
Mickey Facts, everyone, if you tuned in late, Mickey, how do you balance artistry and structure in a school that teaches about freeform art like rap?
So structure is foundational, right? I liken it the same way as teaching someone jazz or teaching someone, opera or how to sing.
Yeah.
We're not telling you how to sing like Mariah Carey. We're showing you the devices that Mariah Carey, and I'm speaking as if I was a singing coach, I'm speaking on how they were able to do these techniques. So how come they can do that, with singing and opera and playing instruments, where you have to actually read sheet music, and people go to art school to learn art, how to actually draw, how to paint beautiful canvases, and you learn all of these different techniques. But rap, you can't teach someone how to rap. Every artist that we've ever had come to Pendulum Inc., every celebrity has said to us, we wish we had this 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And they always also say to us that this is necessary and needed to continue this to go forward, right? We're not teaching, when the artists come to Pendulum Inc., they're not walking out sounding like Mickey Fax. All we're doing is unlocking the key to what your style is and adding extra techniques to what you do. And we're very adamant on allowing you to be great lyrically, but we want you to also be as simple as possible to gravitate to a wider audience. Batman is not going to use every weapon in his utility belt to beat up a random thug.
Nah.
That's just not something he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And you don't need to do that every time you get on a song. You don't need to be lyrical. We don't teach that. And I think that's a misconception as well with us. We teach artists to let the music speak to them. We teach artists to let the content be the driving force. Everybody is not going to be Iceberg Slim. Everybody's not going to be Warren Buffett. Everybody is not going to be Frank Lucas. Right. Sometimes people are Robin Williams dealing with depression, but are comedians.
Come on now.
Some people are, my guy Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness, trying to figure out how he's going to take care of his children. Yeah. Right. So we have to think from that perspective of what is your message? What is your brand? Who are you speaking to? Who is your audience? And how can we create the soundtracks to their lives?
That's fire, dude.
That works.
Mickey Fax, thank you for joining us today and sharing your journey, wisdom, and the incredible work you're doing with Pendulum Inc. Your impact on hip hop, both as an artist and educator, it's inspiring and much needed in today's culture.
Yeah,
we appreciate your time, your voice, and your mission. Wishing you continued success, and you're always welcome back on the show.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you're interested in joining Pendulum Inc., or you know someone that's interested in joining us, hit us up, pendulumink.com, pendulumink.com. Send me a DM on Instagram, mickey.factz. I respond to every email and every DM because I'm OCD.
No, he does. He does. That's how we got him.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Sometimes you gotta, you gotta use what you got. Hey, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you for your time, man.
No problem, guys.
All right, peace. We'll be right back, yo. It's the morning grind.
More to come with the
ZI, man. It don't get too much funkier than that. Like, that's the original stuff.
That's the funk right there.
That's the OG funk,
That's
son.
the OG funk right there.
Yes, sir. What?
I think he did a good job of covering that song that Shaka Khan did.
Oh, hold up, stop.
What?
Okay, that's Prince. Prince wrote that.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?
That's his song.
Here we
Chaka
go,
Khan covered it.
Go.
No.
Yes, sir.
What?
Chaka Khan covered that one.
You gotta
man.
be kidding me.
No,
I
man,
did not
wish I
know
was.
that.
Take us to
No,
school, dog.
man. That was Prince. That's one of Prince's originals, dude.
So that's a cover.
The Chaka Khan's is a cover.
Yes, what we just heard was a cover.
No. What you heard was the original.
That's the original.
Yes, sir. Prince wrote that. Prince wrote that one. Chaka Khan covered it, and it almost didn't get made. That the cover almost didn't get made because I think Chaka had done her vocals, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember whoever was producing it put Melly Mel in there with the Chaka Khan, and she said when she heard that she almost ran out the studio. It was not happening. She was not comfortable with it, but they convinced her to leave it in, and of course that's like the signature line in the whole song.
That's how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
most
don't
definitely.
like will be the thing that everybody wants.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Yes, sir. No question about it. Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah,
That was awesome. Well done, DJ. Well done.
Well, yeah, every once in a while I can come up with something.
Sprinkle it in there real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. We got another special guest in the building. Dab Dub. Do me the honors, brother.
Today, we're joined by a truly distinguished guest, Professor Karina Lane, the S.D. Roberts and Sandra Moore Professor of Law at the University of Richmond School of Law. She's a nationally recognized expert expert on the death penalty and Supreme Court decision making, with work published in top law journals like Stanford, Penn, and Duke. A former prosecutor and Army veteran, Professor Lane brings a powerful combination of real-world experience and deep academic insight to her work. Her upcoming book, Secrets of the Killing State, offers a groundbreaking look into the untold history of lethal injection in America. Professor Lane, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a great vibe. I've been listening to your music. I love it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, you got 3 generations, yes. Professor Lane. You got myself. I'm the elder statesman. We got Dab Dub, aka Douglas, and then we got Simply Courtney, who is he's the young buck, but there's an outstanding young man, and we're like Batman, Robin, and Robin Jr. We just killing it.
We're trying to mold him. We're gonna help him grow up.
I'm moldable because I'm clay.
You are clay, sir. That's for sure.
Professor Lane, what initially drew you to focus your scholarship on the death penalty and Supreme Court decision making?
Well, I'm a legal historian, and I was taught in high school civics class that the Supreme Court played this role of protector of unpopular minorities against tyrannical majorities. And so when I joined academia, when I became part of law faculty, I thought, well, let's just see if that's true. I love history, so let's dive into it. And so that's what got me into legal history pieces on Supreme Court decision making. And then I happened upon a piece. I kept looking for okay, what's the unpopular minority? And really wasn't finding the Supreme Court playing that role. And so finally I was like, well, what's the most unpopular minority I can think of? And it was capital defendants. It was death row inmates. And so I did a legal history piece on that. The Supreme Court decided a case, Furman versus Georgia in 1972, that struck down the death penalty. And a lot of people don't know that, but there were 4 years when we didn't have a death penalty. And then it brought it back in 76. So that's what, and then you start writing on the death penalty, you can't look away.
How has your experience as a prosecutor and your time in the military influenced the way you approach legal scholarship and teaching?
Well, so as far as teaching, I really try to bring in a practical perspective for the students. Yes, they're going to learn high theory, but I want to tell them about, look, this is what it looks like. This is what the job looks like. This is these are the issues that you're going to have. It also works its way into my studying of the death penalty. And I just have to say that as a former prosecutor, I yield to no one in my empathy for victims of violent crime, for the family members of people who have been killed. And so, one of the things that I been thinking about a lot lately, especially, is whether the death penalty is even really. I don't purport to speak for any victim, but I'll just say it takes 15 to 20 years, and so I've been studying these executions, and what I'm seeing is these people, they lost their family members, and then also they've lost 2 decades of their life, waiting, and instead of just, starting the healing process and moving on. And so, it creeps into various ways.
You've spent over a decade researching lethal injection. What do most people misunderstand about how it actually works in practice?
Everything.
Well, there you go.
So,
that's it.
That's it. I started writing it down, and it insisted upon being a book. Let's just say that's the book.
Yeah.
But I thought that lethal injection was like putting down, a beloved pet. Only it's for humans, and it's nothing like that. We're not torturing our pets, by the way. That was a question that came up in my research. So your pets are fine. But, it's nothing like that. For the first 35 years of lethal injection, they didn't use the same drugs. They used a 3-drug protocol. Putting down a pet uses a 1-drug pentobarbital protocol. And for the first 35 years of lethal injection, that 3-drug protocol was nothing like what they do for pets. Wasn't even the same drug. And nowadays, some states, including Texas, use the 1-drug protocol, but it's compounded because they can't buy the manufactured version. And and compounding sterile injectables, it's a whole other story. So that's, it's still not the same. I thought doctors were doing this. I really did.
Yeah.
And turns out the people pushing the plungers, the people pushing the syringes that are actually doing it, they're non-medical prison guards, that are from another room. And I'm like, what? Ugh. No, that can't be right. And of course, we don't know in any given execution, but because of secrecy, but everything we know tells us, including some documents from Texas, that the people pushing the syringes are non-medical prison guards. And then just the physiology is different. So pets, think of it, they go down in 60 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Lethal injection takes about 18 minutes.
What?
Yes, I know. And as one doctor told me, suffering takes time. Suffering takes time. And you've certainly got it, which is why we see, prisoners saying, I'll take the firing squad, or, I'll take the electric chair. And what they've said is, yeah, we know it's going to be a torturous death, but, our best move is to make it quick.
If you're joining us late, we have Professor Karina Lane, professor of law, University of Richmond School of Law, and we're talking about her upcoming book, Secrets of the Killing State, which offers a groundbreaking look into the untold history of lethal injection in America. So, Professor Lane, in your view, how has the death penalty system evolved in the U.S. over the past 20 years? I mean, you were saying for 35 years, we just brought death penalty back in 76 after the 4-year hiatus. How did it evolve in the U.S. over the past 20?
Well, 1976 marks what we call the modern era of the death penalty. And, it's had its highs and lows. One thing I think is pretty remarkable is that over the past 20 years, 2 decades, death sentencing across the country has fallen just over 80%. Oh. So, yeah. So, in 2004, we had around 125 new death sentences. In 2024, the last year for which we have complete data, that number was 26. Yeah. So 125 to 26 across the whole country.
Yeah.
And Texas has seen those numbers go down too. In fact, part of this, so of course the El Paso shooter at the Walmart shootings, he just pled, or he's going to plead to life. And, there were multiple, I think it was maybe 24 deaths in that. And really, quite aggravated. One of the reasons that pled out was because the victims said, you know what, we don't want to be, dragged through this entire process. He can go away for, they are taking his life. He'll never get out, right? Yeah. You are taking their life. You're just, you're just really allowing the family to be done with it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even if they appeal, which he won't because it's a plea, but even if they appeal, they're serving their sentence. Whereas if it's the death penalty, you're waiting for the punishment. You can't move on. You're still waiting. And so you see that bleeding into the cases around the country.
What surprised you the most while writing Secrets of the Killing State? Were there any revelations that changed the way you think about the justice system?
Yes. But, as far as what surprised me the most, I thought that there was some kind of science behind lethal injection.
Yeah.
I mean, surely some guy didn't just make it up off the top of his head. But no, some guy made it up off the top of his head. That literally happened. So this was 1977. It was Oklahoma. And Oklahoma was looking for a new way to execute. The country hadn't seen an execution in 10 years. And politicians were afraid that, the country was not going to be able to stomach the violence of the electric chair. So they were looking for a new way. They thought of drugs, and they asked around. Nobody would help them. But the state medical examiner, a guy named Jay Chapman, was game. And he later referred to himself as an expert in dead bodies, but not in how to get them that way.
Oh.
And in a later interview, he said, I didn't do any research. I just thought about what was needed from being under anesthesia myself. And, and so it was like, wait, what? Nobody even studied it? There weren't, like, you didn't get into the medical literature or pharmacology or anything? Nope, nothing. And then all the other states, including Texas, followed him. And, about that, he later said, I never would have guessed in my wildest flight of fancy that they would just blindly follow it, but they did.
Oof.
So that was a surprise. There's long-standing problems with the death penalty that really make me wonder about the criminal justice process. So there's a study, let's just, call it, one is racism in the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And people think of the perhaps more obvious, okay, it depends on the race of the defendant. What most people don't know is that the really big, the really big factor is the race of the victim. So it goes from like, whose lives are we going to take to whose lives are we going to protect? And there was a study, a very famous study called the Baldus study. And they found that when you have a black defendant and a white victim, the chances of getting the death penalty are 4.1 times more, like 4 times more, after considering over 230 variables and taking out, like, I don't know what it was, 39 or something like that, non-racial variables. So like there's nothing left but race, nothing left. And it's like, yeah, there's nothing left but race and you're 4 times more likely to get the death penalty. And I don't know, I just think good people on both sides of the aisle should be offended by that, right? Like that's, nobody can defend that. That's indefensible.
No.
So, there's all kinds of things that, and I'll tell you, I wrote the legal history on Furman, and then the first moment that I was like, wait, what? And really started studying the death penalty was a case out of Texas. Oh. And it was a death case. It was a capital case where the lawyer fell asleep. No. That literally happened. No. And there was no denying it. He wasn't like, no, I was thinking in my head or no, I was resting my eyes. Like, no, I fell asleep. And the court literally said, the Constitution says you're entitled to a lawyer. It doesn't say they have to be awake.
Oh, man. You know what?
And that was a while ago, but, this is the sort of thing. I think that when people say they support the death penalty, it's like, I had an idea, I certainly did as a prosecutor, that it's, done a certain, like, embedded in that support would be like, okay, but you're not going to have sleeping lawyers. Okay, but you're not going to have prosecutors hiding exculpatory evidence. Okay, but, like all of those okay buts. Yeah. And the closer you look, the more it's just quite simply not true.
I have a couple more questions on the Supreme Court and broader legal topics. You've studied how the Supreme Court makes decisions. What patterns or trends have you noticed that might surprise the general public?
Well, historically, the Supreme Court has had a really interesting relationship with the public. And that's been the focus of my research on Supreme Court decision making, where it's like, well, why is it that the court is largely majoritarian? That is, it tends to track majority views. Now, there's an exception to that, and I think we're in the exception right now. And it is when you have justices with particularly strong ideological bents. What we see is they actually don't care if they're moving, with public sentiment. So the death penalty is a really nice example of that. Justice Marshall, Justice Brennan, even in Law and Order times, they were like, I don't care. I'm against the death penalty. I think it's unconstitutional. I'm going to vote to reverse in every case. On the flip side of that, Justice Scalia, Justice Rehnquist in their day, even when we had the actual innocence revolution in 2000, where, all of these cases of actual innocence were found on death row, they were like, yeah, that's just a cost of doing business. I don't care. That's not going to change my view at all. So, on the extremes, they don't track. But until now, really, we've always had median justices and a roughly balanced court. And so I think one of the interesting things that people don't realize is that generally the court, tracks public opinion, but I don't know that my research is I think it's proving to be the exception that proves the rule. I'll just say that.
Last question, Professor Lane. Again, for those who may have joined us a little late, we have Professor Karina Lane, the S.D. Roberts and Sandra Moore Professor of Law at the University of Richmond School of Law, and her upcoming book, Secrets of the Killing State, which offers a groundbreaking look into the untold history of lethal injection in America. This isn't the last question. This is the question before the question. When does that book come out? Because I was going to say spring 2025, but we're close, right?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking. It comes out next Tuesday, April 22nd. Okay. And here's a cool thing. There's a faith story behind this. You can find it, frankly, on my website, karinalane.com. Behind the book is the tab. But so there's a whole testimony behind writing this book that people can find on their own. But NYU Press, which is not a religious press, right? But they chose Easter 2025 as the release date. They chose that 18 months ago, which was at least half a year before the Pope declared 2025 the year of the Jubilee, and a full year before the Pope declared ending the death penalty to be the theme of the 2025 Jubilee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Check that out.
I know. God's timing is perfect.
So this will be the last one. How do you think the court's recent rulings reflect larger shifts in American political or cultural life?
I mean, is it okay to say they don't?
Oh, yeah.
You certainly see a wing. So, I mean, we could talk about their abortion ruling or some of the other rulings, but, there are certainly slices of the population that were really happy with that. But at the time they made that decision, Dobbs, rolling back Roe versus Wade and, rolling back those constitutional protections, that I had, but that my daughters won't have.
Yeah.
But, before they, there's certainly a wing that is really supportive of that. But at the time, I think it was 63, maybe 65% of the public supported choice, at least in the first trimester. So, that's not really, it's consistent with a segment of the population, but it was not actually consistent with overall population, and it became an issue, a swing issue in those midterms. But that's the relationship that the court has with the people.
Mm-hmm. Professor Karina Lane, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight today. It's been an eye-opening conversation. Listeners, be sure to keep an eye out for her upcoming book, Secrets of the Killing State, dropping April 22nd, 2025. It's a powerful and important read that digs deep into the hidden truths behind lethal injection in America. We're honored to have had you on the show. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It has just been such a pleasure talking with you. Take care, Douglas.
Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Professor Lane. Hang out with us for just a little bit, okay? All right. This is The Morning Grind on 88.7 FM KAZI. We'll be back, y'all.
More to come with The Morning Grind right here on 88.7 FM KAZI.
The Morning Grind.
Good morning, y'all. Your boy Jabari Warfield, Dab Dub, and Simply Courtney. We are the Morning Grind on Wednesday. Be sure to check out the professor coming up a little later on today. He's got that old school, man, good stuff from 10 to noon. Yeah. And then I believe Iron Sharpens Iron comes on noon to 1. Grown Man Game. Yeah, Grown Man Game is in the building.
They here.
Come on in, man. Come on in here. Come on in.
Grown Man Game 1 to 4, bringing fun back to what it means to be a man, y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Terrence does a great job, man. That's a great show. I love catching it. And I don't know if it was hard for him that they moved him up earlier,
right?
But it actually helps me to be able to listen to him now, because I'm normally doing kid activities on the old time slot, but I can get him on my commute. And right when I'm just about to leave work, I can get all that. So
yeah,
so exactly. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's one to me. I think it's great because there's so much stigma as to what being a man is these days.
Yeah, right.
And so I think it's so great that he's doing. KT Kenneth Thompson, break it down. Okay, easy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All right. He's got a cadence.
Yeah, he does. He does have a cadence. Yeah.
Shout out to Kenneth Thomas, man. That was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, how was your experience?
I had fun, dude. I was out there, man. I was outside, homie. It's different when you outside in the elements. Like the wind was blowing. Pamela Hart.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Pam Hart.
Put it down. Hey, put it down.
Yes, sir.
And then Chris Spivey, it's Chris Spivey, right?
Yeah, Christopher Spivey and Company.
And his band, they were amazing. They were immaculate. I did what I could. I had a good time. I put on a hat. I walked around. I danced. I learned the new line dance. Shout out to anybody that was out there. Shout out to Edward Crowder, EC. I always mess his Instagram up, but EC was out there. It was really neat. He got some photos of me in action, because you know me, I don't.
EC be out there, son.
I don't be recording nothing, and it was wild because I was like, I was running between tournament and downtown stuff. So I was out in beautiful basketball tournament, jumped in the Batmobile, flew over real quick, got out there, got some people dancing, talked to some people, and then got back in the Batmobile and went back to the tournament. So it was a really, really fun, blessed Sunday.
You doing that thing.
That was a good event, dude.
That worked.
It sounded so good, man. It was what I've wanted to see in Austin. Like, we were in the middle of downtown playing music. People are dancing. People are having a good time. It reminded me of old Austin, like when we used to have Juneteenth stuff, which Juneteenth's still popping, but it just felt like we had an early Juneteenth celebration almost.
Nice.
It was peaceful, y'all.
That's cool.
Peaceful.
Yes, sir. And just before it starts to get hot around here too, that's probably something that should be an annual event.
It needs
the Gospel Jazz Festival.
That was perfect.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely.
And I was what I want to point out. I was not only effective, but I was appropriate. I kept it appropriate because it was Sunday.
Right.
Somebody let me know. They said, "Hey, this is almost church," so I had to keep it almost churchy. You feel me?
Yeah. Get an amen.
They said I couldn't shake a tail feather.
Yeah, it's post church. The spirit is still on you when you're out there. Yeah. Even when you like at Papados or something to eat, the spirit's still on you.
It's 6 o'clock.
Some of them came through in they church clothes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Facts.
All right, so let's talk about this real quick. I got an interesting topic that I found this morning on CNN.com. So of course, the current sitting president is tariffs, and more tariffs. And what about some tariffs? How would you like some tariffs?
Never heard of them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so President Trump's using tariffs to disrupt nearly everything about the global trade order, except for a tariff policy that favors men over women. Again, this is from CNN.com. The U.S. tariff system has taxed women's clothing more heavily than men's. Tariffs on women's clothing are currently about 3% higher than men's clothing. It's a policy known as pink tariffs, similar to the pink tax that makes the same products for women more expensive than men's. And with Trump's imposing 10% tariffs on most trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China, he's really leaning on them. The cost for women could go higher than it already is, which means most women on an average are going to pay an extra dollar amount per garment compared to men, costing them more than globally or here in the U.S. at least $2 billion with a B dollars a year.
Let me break this down for you.
Break it down.
Fellas, when you got to buy something from your lady, now you got reason to tell her why she only got one present, why she only got one shirt. So you buy her that designer shirt because, fellas, tariffs. Because nothing says love like a 25% surcharge. I mean,
yeah.
That's it. So you can let her know. I could have got you about 3 of them, but I had that tariff. That tariffs out there be tariffing.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
Man, I ain't heard the word tariff so much in my life.
Man.
In my life.
Every time he show up, man, a new word get thrown in the lexicon. Y'all remember when they showed up and it was the insurrection? Man, the last time we heard the word insurrection was when Alien and Sigourney Weaver were fighting on a spaceship. Now all of a sudden we got tariffs, man. He just be bringing in stuff, and I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice.
FCC.
Oh, for the record. I do have the gold thing on my ID. I acted a fool last week.
You got it.
Because I didn't know what it was. Turns out I've had
legit.
it this whole time. I've been legit.
Okay,
Still mad, though.
Yeah,
Still
like
mad.
you need to be-
Homie, I was about to throw a fit.
I don't know.
About to throw a chair through a window.
I'm saying if they would have ran up in here and got you, I would have been like, I always had my doubts about Zip Courtney. I never really knew.
No.
I mean, he looked Peruvian to me.
I've been
I thought that brother
with my head
tunneled over
down.
here.
With my head put down between my legs with everybody else.
Boy.
I would have visited you though in the whole
You pulled up.
the detention center before you got sent away.
Yeah.
I would have came through about 2 or 3
Then
times.
they had me in the hoodie, yo. You'd have visited me in the hoodie with the water.
I would have checked you out,
Bro, it is wild out here.
This tariffs made me change up the way I do things with my lady, man.
What do you mean?
So what I told her was, she ain't gonna be getting all them gifts, the little designer stuff like I was mentioning earlier. And I said, babes, let's just say our relationship hit a terrific roadblock. See what I did there?
That was terrifying.
Yeah. See, I thought she would understand though. Listen, these all can't be funny. I tried smuggling humor across the border, but it got held up in customs.
You got caught up by the tariff. There's a new tariff in town.
Yeah, so slow it down. You can't. There's so much, but I'm ready to move on to the next topic because this conversation is getting a little taxing.
Man.
Dun-dun-bum.
You came with the tea.
I heard it. That is.
That was good.
I got a question
That's good.
for you guys.
Yo.
Do the guys that are whipped and don't have a backbone know that they don't have a backbone?
Absolutely not.
No.
They don't know?
When it happened to me, I didn't know it. I didn't know it until one day. My sister, I called I don't know what it was. I think I had to, my sister needed me to find her phone or something, and I called her phone, and it played T-Pain's "Sprung."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whose phone? Whose ringtone is that?" That's your ringtone. I said, "What?" I didn't know. Everybody knew it though, and I put money. If I really called other people's phones, my ringtone was sprung on everybody's phone. Facts, man.
She got him.
You did not know. I listen. I contend because they talking about Bill Belichick right now. They talk about how she always on the practice field dressing them up and stuff. He got that little 22, whatever she is, right?
Yeah.
And they said, man, I ain't never seen a man this whipped before in football. And I said, I don't necessarily know if it's a bad thing. I think sometimes if it's somebody you won't be whipped by him, be sprung by him, it happens.
Yeah.
What they say, have your nose up? Got
Yeah.
your nose up? Be nosed up for a woman. It's okay. Or man, whoever you with, be nose up.
Doing things I never do.
Yeah.
If you ain't been, I'm telling you.
Man, y'all saw his performance at Coachella.
I was
by the
going
way.
to
Oh,
say,
yeah,
I was just
did
getting
his
ready
thing.
to
I'm
say,
proud of him.
man.
Yeah, that is
Is he
Brother.
is he the comeback story of the decade right now?
Man, look here. Yes, he
Yes,
basically
sir.
is.
He is.
Or maybe he never left and we moved on. Maybe we got tired of some stuff. But
I wasn't tired of him though, and I think that he got
that dude's talented.
he
man.
got an unfair rap on this whole thing when they was talking about the auto tune and stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was the fact that when he went on Tiny Desk, and people don't know that you have to be able to sing to really do that stuff. You can do it badly, but to do it good, you have to have some music. What's the word? Musical ability.
Musicality, musical
Musicality.
ability.
That's
yeah,
the word I
yeah.
wanted.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
But he tore it up at Coachella. He is killing it on streaming because I think he does Twitch or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But there's these gems that every so often he drops where he's talking about the music industry in such like poetic ways, where he's talking about how you got to be able to do something different than what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
He's dropping gem after gem. It's dope to see him getting his flowers. Like I love to see when real artists, no disrespect, but when real artists that do this are getting props. And it's cool because now there's a younger demographic that's getting turned on to him because they're thinking, oh, this guy is just funny. Oh, no. He's more than that. He's funny. He's creative. He's talented. He can sing. He can dance. He's literally a rapper turned singer.
Yeah.
That's his album.
And there we go.
Come
there
on,
we go.
man.
There we go.
That's so cool to see that. But Coachella, he killed it.
So if we went back to the lyrics of this song, because of the topic that got us here.
Talk to
So
me.
in it, he says,
What are you doing?
real talk, I'm going to tell you out the whip.
Yeah.
It ain't your face, it ain't your hips. When I dip shorty, you don't even trip.
Yeah.
You give me rubber bands for my grip.
Yeah.
You the fly bee stepping out my whip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your ninja girl. We like this. Wait, so if she is giving you money,
Yeah.
it ain't just about the love making.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about that sensuality.
Mm-hmm.
She don't trip on you. So she's
don't trip.
she's good to you. It's like, yo, hey, I'll be back.
All right.
Well, when you come in, she don't even ask you that.
She don't even
Okay,
ask you.
I see when you see you. Why wouldn't you be sprung by that?
Homie,
So
she ain't
there,
even
there
his
are
man.
positives,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Like if you sitting on something nice, I know we say sprung, but sometimes you just happy.
He ain't even look, she ain't even his main lady. And he been thinking about her lately.
Okay, all right, okay. So then we good.
Man, ain't even mad about all his other ronies.
Okay, all right.
She let him have other ronies. Dap, she let him have other ronies.
I was already sold when she was giving him money. But yeah, and wasn't asking me when I'm coming back. Don't even trip when I say I'm about to dip.
You know they used to tackle together, right? I'm trying to stay politically
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
They used to tackle together.
Yes, they did.
I don't know if they still tackle together. They might.
They might be. Who knows?
Sometimes
All
you gotta
she
do
doing
that.
is acting like she want me. Wait, ain't that our dream?
Man, bro.
Ain't that our dream?
Somebody that's ready to roll with you
Open
and ain't expect you to do your thing and yeah, like
day.
yeah, like
Daddy's
like
here.
Courtney
Guys,
said,
look,
tackle
Guys, look,
do
Daddy's
some things
here.
every now and again, something a little different,
Something a little different.
something a little open
A little
minded.
strange.
Yeah, something a little open minded.
She give you the ones. She help you. Man, she throw the singles. You ain't even got to throw the singles. She throwing with you.
All right.
There you
okay.
go. Now, question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-Pain Super Bowl 2020.
He should.
Six.
His live
yeah.
performance.
Oh, that would be fire.
So he's built for live, and I don't remember if this is 100% still true. But when you don't have certain, you can help me with this. So which rights is it again for the live performance? Which one's the ones you have
live
to have?
performance, I think,
Is it
is
mechanical?
performance royalties. It's performance, mechanical, and sync. So it's performance royalties.
So there were some that he didn't have because we know about the whole catalog stuff like that.
Right.
So there were certain songs he couldn't perform the original way.
Right.
He only could do the live version of.
Right.
Which now you see a lot of artists that do that. And so the crazy thing I think for him is because we're so used to seeing clips of him performing live, a lot of us won't miss, meaning when he does the Super Bowl performance, hearing the studio version of that song. There are certain songs with Kendrick Lamar's that you want to hear the extra like that, like there's certain background vocals and stuff
Exactly.
that when you hear that song, you want to hear those background parts that you don't get when you're live,
Right.
unless they bring a live performance or element that reproduces that part. With T-Pain, there's so much going on that we won't miss the studio performance version.
Right.
The live version is going to be the best.
we
I want to see all of it.
we
I
wouldn't
agree.
make it. Okay,
Kiss
so his
Kiss.
number one
yeah, exactly.
Spotify top song,
What we got?
Low.
Yep.
Then
I wanna
Buy
see
You a
that.
Drink.
I want to see that.
Then Good Life.
I want to see that. I want to see
Bartender
that.
featuring Akon.
Oh my
Have
God.
Akon come out too.
That's his opening.
Yeah.
Hey Baby, Drop It to the Floor.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Pitbull.
Easy,
the one with Pitbull.
and even one for the Latinos, I'll go
yeah.
Me Gusta de Ti. He's got that one.
Yeah.
Kiss Kiss,
Chris Brown.
featuring
Come
T-Pain.
on, man.
Up Down, Do This All Day featuring B.O.B.
Yeah.
I'm Sprung, we talked about that one.
That's perfect.
I'm in Love with a Stripper, featuring Mike Jones. That's 10 songs. That's the
Mike
top
Jones,
10.
yeah.
And he could go further than that.
Yeah,
we
he
won't
could.
make it.
No, we would make it.
That already is a good show.
That's a Chris Brown level performance because he would just be pressing the button and we won't go crazy no matter what song come up.
So if he wants to play Blame It on a, okay, what you gonna take out and put in? Because he won't make it through all 10. You
Can
see
we
what I'm
get Blame
saying?
It, please?
That's how good his catalog is. Cyclone,
No, I'm good. I blame it's there. I won't blame it. No.
Yeah.
Jerry Sprunger,
I don't remember that one.
Booty Work.
Yeah, that's my joint, son.
what
That's
you doing
what.
about that?
Don't y'all know?
Hey,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
you gotta
sir.
take one out. What you gonna take out of the
Yeah,
top
some
10 to
people
get
gonna
that
be
in? It's it ain't even gonna be. Look, this is gonna be a great show. Jabari,
Make it happen.
Next time you got all those big wigs on your jet and y'all going to play golf, you should just put a little nugget out there. A couple of those NFL owners you hang out with, just float it.
I'm gonna talk to Jerry Jones.
Ain't the Super Bowl probably gonna be in Florida anyways at this point?
That's the one.
It's probably gonna be in Florida anyways.
That's
if
the
it's
one.
in so he's Tallahassee, right?
Tallahassee, yeah.
Where is the Buck Stadium at? Where is that at? That's in that's
Tampa.
Tampa. How far are they from each other?
About 4 hours.
So
because it's no straight shot. So
we can make that work then.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they're about to have the Super Bowl at some point in the next whatever.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that would be dope.
T-Pain Super Bowl?
A T-Pain Super Bowl would work. After watching him at Coachella,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, not only was his performance good, we're going to go to break in a minute, but not only was his performance good, you listen to like all the thing about doing a concert, and I learned this from listening to an interview with Kanye, because he was talking about what was that song that Timbaland worked on a song called Stronger for him, and he didn't like the way it sounded in concert, so he had to work on the drums, and who better to go to than Timbaland? Timbo, because Tim puts sounds and all kinds of craziness on his tracks.
That boy crazy.
Tim's
he on a different one.
Tim's from another planet.
Yes, he is.
Tim's from another planet.
From where I'm from, VA.
He from Negroville.
Yes, he is.
So he went there, and I think when I only watched like about 10 minutes of it, but when I saw him and I listened, there was more of there was a lot more essence in what he was doing. It was elevated sonically. It was fantastic. I'm sorry, T-Pain next Super Bowl, fight me.
I don't have a number 2.
Yeah,
Mariah Carey maybe. I mean, no disrespect to Mimi. We love her, but
yeah.
T-Pain.
I mean, she got the catalog to do it.
She got the catalog to do it.
Yeah.
But if that man, if they put him up there right now, flash that name on the screen.
T-Pain.
With that hat.
Yeah.
And the glasses.
And the coat and everything
and the
else.
coat, the ringleader
T-Pain.
coat.
Next Super Bowl.
That makes sense.
Next Super Bowl.
That made a lot of sense, y'all.
Yeah. Next Super Bowl, run it.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break, y'all. We'll be back.
That made a lot of sense.
More to come with the Morning Grind right here on 88.7 FM, KAZI.
Good morning, y'all. How you doing? Your boy Jabari Warfield, Dab Dub, and Simply Courtney. We have Wednesday edition of the Morning Grind, KAZIFM.org. What's poppin', fellas?
I got a little question I want to ask you guys.
Let's get a little messy before we get out of here.
I want your real opinion.
No.
Not the fake.
The answer is no.
Yes.
The answer is no.
Your girl took a trip to Miami.
Oh, man.
She hasn't been answering the phone.
How long,
Are
dog?
you good?
How long?
I just want to know.
How long?
She been down there for about 4 days.
How long she ain't been answering the phone?
4 days. All 4. The moment she landed.
Did I tell her to call me when she landed and check in?
It sounds like you are not good. I think I already know your answer.
I'm about to pull up.
Are you good?
I'm about to be in Miami, Trick. That's what they said, right? 4 days. 4 days, dog.
She getting it in.
4 days.
Down on South Beach.
No, you know what? No, I got it. I'm changing the locks.
All right,
Okay, Jabari.
Yeah.
Your girl took a trip to Miami. She ain't been answering the phone.
Right.
Are you good?
For 4 days? You know what? I'm gonna be like this. As good as this is, you'd be a fool.
Hey, that's it. Yo, that has been the Morning Grind. You guys have a wonderful night. He said exactly what he meant, and he did not flinch. Y'all can't see it, but he picked his badge up, put it on the table.
Yes, he did.
And all right,
You'd be a fool.
be a fool.
Dude, you would be.
That was her fault.
Fool.
She made a decision.
Okay.
That wasn't an accident. You made a choice.
Yeah.
I did this in reverse order because I had another question, but you're right. To that point, there ain't no following that. Okay, here's another one about relationships.
Wish you would.
You've been dating a girl online and find out she's been living under a bridge. What are you gonna do?
How do you date online, by the way? Just make y'all just talking.
She show up, hey, when it's time to FaceTime and y'all been sending emails and whatnot. She been coming over to the spot.
Right.
She been meeting you at a place, then y'all pick up and, she stayed over a couple nights. But now you find out she been living under a bridge. What's popping? What y'all gonna do?
I guess we got questions. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out what happened.
We need to have a conversation.
That's
for real.
Wait a minute, y'all are already into it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't hear y'all say anything like, "Hey, we are definite, like we a team."
There's reasons this stuff happen, and you sometimes want to find out what's going on. If the reasoning is something you can deal with, then so
Yeah.
be it. If the reasons is not something you can deal with,
So you're saying there's a chance?
there's a chance.
Well, you got to talk. You got to talk about it and find out what's going on, because that's something. If you're keeping that kind of secret, what else kind of secret would you keep?
She embarrassed, Jabari.
Most people would have kept that secret though. I would have.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go to the phone line real quick.
Okay.
Good morning, caller. How you doing?
Happy Wednesday.
Uh-oh.
The beast from the east.
What's up?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
And you too. How you doing,
Y'all,
Courtney?
yeah, I am doing well. I am loving life and the experiences and things. But I want to talk about you and you guys' health this morning. You know, Jabari, I'm not used to you not being out and about and, and shaking that thing and moving that thing.
Somebody been looking at them videos closely.
Yes.
His reels.
Dapper Douglas, he's not, Dapper D is not on the basketball court.
Nah.
And, at lunchtime, and I know he's not behind them children on kids' activities, but now it's sounding like he getting to that stage like, baby, you go ahead. I'll catch up with you later.
Yep.
I'm right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to coach it better than I can show it.
Well, I can tell you, I had a little bit of. I've been honestly. I'm gonna just put this out there. I'm gonna stand on what God has for me, because I am so upset and hurt with my sibling right about now. I am so upset with my sister. It ain't even funny, and I know it's taking its toll on my body.
Yeah.
And I got to be careful with that. I had.
Man.
I had my left leg was bothering me. There was times where I couldn't walk. There was times that this muscle that was being bothered it actually will affect your digestive system to the point where you will have nausea. So I couldn't teach. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk for more than 5 minutes, and I had to sit down. And it was like that. But I'm feeling much better. Thank you. Yeah, and I was stressed out. I'm getting older. I I still look good, but I'm got some age on my car. So there it is. And we all three of us got a little something, because we all working, all hustling, all got kids.
Yep.
So we're all trying to be dad, and trying to, deal with what we got to deal with.
Trying to keep it moving.
Son.
Trying to be dad and trying to be present at the same time, which are two totally different things at this point. I know I'm trying to keep this mic on my mouth.
There you go.
There it is. Trying to be dad and present at the same time, which is not easy to do, because you still want to live your life, but at the same time, at some points you got to slow it down. Just for a little while, though, hopefully. Hopefully it's for a little while. That was it. That's my report.
But I need you guys to, really take care of yourselves. Jabari, let that stress go. Get out here and take a walk today. Smell some flowers, roses, petunias, whatever it's going to take, and let it go.
Yes, ma'am.
Because not only does it affect your walking, we don't want that stress to get to your heart, lungs, and definitely it's taking a toll on your mind and body and spirit.
Amen to that. Amen
So,
to that.
I'm coming in as, normally I'm going to be real smart with my comments, but today it's going to be all about the love in my comments.
Amen.
That I really want y'all guys to, get your health out, because my doctor had to tell me stress slows down healing. And the more stress that you have in your life, you don't realize it, but it will take you longer to heal from something. And I don't know about y'all, but I plan to live a long time. I want to see, several generations behind me, and enjoy those generations behind me.
Yes.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah.
I'm learning to slow it down, take time out for yourself. I understand about the sibling thing. I have a sibling that I can't tell you the last time him and I have gotten into an argument, because we're such chill people. Then I got another sibling on the other side that I'm about ready to choke out.
You don't want that smoke.
But I have, so I have left that sibling alone. I'm like, you know what? I was here first. I'm going to keep on living, because I don't want them to stop my shine. I don't want them to have me in a nursing home dealing with the stress of them.
DL.
My life, yo.
Sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to ask. I get along with my sister, but I'm a great pain in the butt little brother. That's okay, right? Because she knows his love. Like, I can get away with that, right? That's still good.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what siblings do.
Oh,
There's
okay.
always going to be one that's going to be a pain,
Yep.
not just in the butt, that pinky toe that you hit it on the corner of the couch.
Oh, not that
There's
one.
siblings like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's siblings like that.
Okay.
You know, but hey, that's cool. That's
Okay,
just their
good.
personality.
I always got jokes for her, and if I could get her steamed up, yeah, I'm doing it. If I could eat her last croissant that's in her house, I'm doing it.
Well, remind me not to be around if she comes to town for real.
Right.
But see, that wouldn't bother me if you ate the last croissant, because again, I'm trying to keep my brick house, and if you want to make your brick house into a mansion, you go on, property, you go on.
She's that bread.
Them empty
And
calories.
yeah.
See, I'm doing it for her. I took that from her, so she ain't gotta eat them empty calories.
Exactly. You
Matter
doing
of
her a
fact,
favor?
She should be paying me. I'm gonna text her right quick.
Boy.
It's like, all the times I stole some food from you, I'm helping you out, girl.
Saving.
Hey, DL, before you go, I just gotta ask a quick question here. You got this boo thing, right? And he been in Miami for about 4 days, and you been calling, but he ain't picked up. Are you good?
Oh, I'm good.
Wait, hey, that was kind of quick. You been calling him for 4
You know why-
days.
you know
You
why I'm
clearly
good?
into him.
Because no, I'm into him, but if he has not decided that it's appropriate to call back and say, hey, babe, I made it to Miami, I'm safe, I'm hanging with the fellas, or something like that, then he ain't the boo.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
There you go. Because you got to have that
Because
security.
that's right. It's very disrespectful not to, and it's not even checking in. Nowadays, you just need to let somebody know that you're okay.
Amen,
People
brother.
are going out of here, and things are happening. Planes, trains, automobiles are not safe as they used to be.
But it's Miami, ma. It's Miami.
He might have started in Miami, but he could be in Cuba or wherever else. Hey,
That's very true.
he could have got deported. You know.
Yeah, he might
in
have.
Maryland, they got deported.
Yeah, these days, yeah, it could happen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, did you learn something? Were you able to catch the professora that was on earlier? Did you catch that?
Man, y'all have taken us from an emotional high of preparing to go to rap school and freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior to learning about the death penalty.
Lethal
and,
injection,
You know, right, and Virginia is one of those states. I'm like, Lord, we got to, do better on the programming, because that just took me from, hey,
Same. I was here along for that same ride. I was like, oh wow.
All right, but she's from your neck of the woods, though. That's University of
Right,
Richmond.
my-
How far that from your house?
right. I'll say about 25 minutes. That's over there where you must have on your colored shirt and enunciate all of your words.
It's one of those schools. Oh, okay. Well, at least we were able to get someone that highbrow. Okay, we doing it out here. We doing it out here.
Right. So, but yes, it was a great show. It was great information. I love the guests that y'all had on today. But again, I just want to press upon you and everybody that's listening. Take care of yourself.
We will.
Because I need you to survive. If nobody told y'all that today, I need you to survive.
Fine. I'm going to work out today.
That's deep.
Just for you.
That's deep. DL, we appreciate you as always, darling. Thank you so much for checking in. We are so thankful to have you.
Hey, much love. See y'all next month.
Bye,
You too.
DL.
Take care. Oh man, always nice to get that love, man. Oops,
Yeah,
I knocked
yeah.
some over time.
Hey,
Knocking over things over
No,
here.
they care. They care.
Yeah.
She got you rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. You all right over there?
Yeah,
I mean,
man, I think I'm all
Shoot
right.
your shot, Jabari. I know she been calling in for a minute. You just, man, you getting all worked up, and she care about you, Jabari. So half of it's already done.
This is true.
Because notice she addressed you and your health first. She didn't single in on us.
Right.
But she was like, hey, Jabari. She got detailed.
This is true. Yeah, she
When
did
it came
get
to you.
detailed. Yeah, I
For
know.
us, she just gave us the whole hum.
The once over. Yeah,
Yeah.
just she didn't put no armor all on your tires.
Dap
She just
DK,
kinda,
take care of yourself. Courtney, take care of yourself. But Jabari.
Oh man, yeah,
Jabari.
man. Well, she's right. I mean, I'm going through it, And it's hard to go through it with family.
Yeah.
Somebody you grew up with, somebody It's different if it's like, my cousin who I ain't got to deal with if I don't want to. But it's funny because I'm getting more love from my cousins than I am my sister. And that is kicking my behind right about now. So I'm really trying to deal with that. So I appreciate that. Appreciate DL. Any last words of wisdom, fellas, before we get out of here?
Don't take it personal, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world that sometimes feels like it's directly aimed at you. I think 90%, this is me making up a random statistic, but 90% of the things that happen to us aren't really happening to us. They're happening and we just happen to be there. Try not to take it all personal. And this is me almost talking directly to myself right now.
Amen to that.
And Jabari.
Yes, sir.
I don't need you in your Bentley this week. Did you notice I went a whole show and I ain't asked you for your car? You want to know why? Because my boy in town. And when I say my boy, it's my uncle. Uncle Prentice is in town.
Nice.
And he got an Aston Martin. So,
okay. Well,
I don't need you in your little stinky Bentley that I always got to get down and beg. But I'm good. And he actually ain't even in my real uncle by blood. I kind of like adopted him.
Did you really?
And he ain't pushed me away yet.
Dang, okay.
But yeah, he in town, so it's real cool, man.
Wow. Well, enjoy that family time, man. It's always a beautiful thing.
No doubt.
Yep. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Grind on 88.7 FM KAZI. I will see you guys